Champions in Action, New Hampshire's unsung heroes making a difference in our lives every day.
Through homeownership and rental housing programs, NeighborWorks Greater Manchester provides affordable housing opportunities to people who live in the Greater Manchester region. Their work also helps to create a stable workforce, better neighborhoods, and more engaged residents. For more information, contact their office in Manchester.
Champions in Action, New Hampshire's unsung heroes making a difference in our lives every day.
There's more to a home than concrete and wood. A home can be a source of pride and stability. No one knows that better than Beth Jellison.
I was newly divorced. I had a young daughter. I wanted to show her that you put one foot in front of the other, you take care of your life, you support yourself.
Doing that meant buying a home of her own, something Jellison says she never could have done without the help of the nonprofit NeighborWorks Greater Manchester.
Did the education. They wrote me a mortgage for something I could afford. By April of the next year, I owned a townhouse.
Executive Director Robert Torney says the goal of NeighborWorks is to make sure everyone has a safe and affordable place to live. The nonprofit has revitalized countless apartment buildings throughout Greater Manchester, but also provides free education and access to low-interest rate mortgages for people who want to buy.
Programs that are geared towards folks who have some obstacles to overcome, working on credit issues, establishing a savings plan, to folks who are more buyer-ready.
And with the recent subprime mortgage crisis, NeighborWorks services are more important now than ever.
A lot of people who bought houses who probably shouldn't have, and that's what we're here for, is to help those people qualify for the right financing product and buy the house that is right for them when the time is right for them.
Torney says people who invest in their own homes are more likely to invest in their community. All the more reason for NeighborWorks to help make the American dream come true.
NeighborWorks, without a doubt. Without them, I could not ever have found a place, owned a place.
Kriya Sakakini, WMUR News 9.
NeighborWorks Greater Manchester is in the business of helping people make the right financial decisions. The goal is to help people achieve the American dream of owning a home. But in recent months, things have changed a bit.
We're dealing with a whole new population now.
Some people who didn't go through the home ownership classes NeighborWorks provides are now in trouble, faced with mortgage rates adjusting and payments that are too high to manage.
I think some of the worst case scenarios is when we find somebody who has struggled so hard to make their mortgage payment, but in the meantime they've racked up credit card debt or other consumer debt to pay their other bills, their other costs of living.
Those at NeighborWorks say these people are trying to make ends meet and find themselves faced with foreclosure. Newspapers list dozens and dozens of them every day. But by the time the situation reaches the legal notices, it may already be too late to get help.
I can't stress enough how important it is for people to call us sooner rather than later. As soon as you feel like you're getting behind in that mortgage, or if you know that your interest rate is going to adjust in the near future, call before that mortgage rate adjusts.
But this nonprofit organization works at getting people back on the right path.
I am the go-between between the household and the actual servicer of the mortgage. Sometimes the households don't know the correct answers or questions to ask. Sometimes the information is not properly relayed. There's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of stress, so I try to relieve both ends from both the servicer and the household to see if we can come up with some sort of resolution.
Kelly Coffey tries to assess each situation and figure out if the owner needs a short or long-term solution. She looks at budgets and can determine if saving the home is an option. This type of counseling can make an overwhelming situation easier to take.
The worst thing folks can do is ignore it.
Because if you do, NeighborWorks says matters will only get worse.
Heather Hamill, WMUR News 9.
For Friday Kaberi, the dream of owning a home seemed unachievable. In 1998, the African refugee came to Manchester not knowing anyone.
I came, I have no car or maybe house or even a bike. So I just started all over.
But he persevered and after a few years married and started a family. He and his wife soon found out their apartment was too small for the couple and 2 kids.
Especially during that time, the roof of that building was kind of leaking. And the heavy rain that fell that night, it broke into my apartment.
I was like the one was pushing that we need to buy a house. Sometimes he kind of like, we don't have the money.
A friend referred them to NeighborWorks of Greater Manchester, a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of people in the Manchester area. They provide access to quality housing services. The first step is an 8-hour home buyer seminar.
The teaching was very easy because they explained everything to the detail. But the part that was hard for me is what I have in the bank account.
The couple says that they were told not to be worried. The organization helped them create a budget and better manage their money.
They gave us hope that if we can do this, then they can be able to help us achieve our goal. So we started to work hard to save some money.
And after a year, they were able to put a down payment on this house.
And when we look at that house, it was so amazing. We can't even feel like this is not something we're going to take it.
Now they have room for their 2 girls to run and play and a place that they're proud to call home. And thanks to NeighborWorks, they not only bought the home, but know how to keep it up.
I really like the way they teach that because I don't want to go and buy a house and tomorrow maybe I lose my home.
We no longer live from paycheck to paycheck. We now have our own money, which we can at least rely on and take care of our children and let our dream come true.